When I started goose calling, I would watch a ton of YouTube videos, and although they helped, there are still some things that no one really talks about that I had to learn on my own that are really helpful in, learning how to properly blow a goose call. So that's what we're going to go over today. Well, what's up, guys? My name's Grant, and welcome to Flights Canceled Outdoors. Make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of awesome hunting content coming out this year, and leave a like on this video if you find it helpful. It helps a lot. One more thing before we get into this tutorial is we just released some merch on our website. Right now I'm wearing the Big Goose Guy t-shirt. This is one of my favorites. So if you want to pick something up, first link in the description to go to our website. Alright, so now let's get into the reason you're watching this video. You're trying to learn how to goose call. Now, this video is going to be for people that are just starting out, just bought a goose call, or are trying to figure out how to sound like a real goose. So if you're somebody who already knows how to do this and you're trying to learn some more advanced stuff, this probably isn't going to be the video for you. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to honk. And now this is just the standard goose sound. This is the fundamental and the base to be able to do all these other notes. So really, if you want to get really good at doing crazy stuff with a goose call, you got to learn the fundamentals and you got to get down the honk. So there are two steps to producing a honk, and the honk is really the main goose sound that everyone associates a goose with. The huh? That type of thing. And that is a moan and a cluck. And those are the two pieces for a honk. Now, the goose call I'm using today, this is the Deceiver by Last Flight Calls. This is my absolute favorite goose call in the world. Now, I know a lot of you probably aren't going to go out and spend $130 on an acrylic call for your first goose call, and that is perfectly fine. You're going to be able to use these techniques that I teach you today and apply it to any goose call you use. So let's go ahead and get started with how to do the honk. So like I said, there are two parts to a honk. There's the moan and the cluck. So we're going to start out with the moan and get that down first before we move on to the cluck. So for the moan, notice for this, I'm not going to be putting my hands over the call just yet, and that's because a lot of guys that are starting out need that extra back pressure in order to create, for the reed to break over, to create the cluck part of it, and that's not what I want to teach you guys. I want you guys to be able to do it without back pressure, and that's the proper way to learn, so you can always do it. So when you present your air into the goose call, the best way I can describe it is like you're whistling. Notice how you feel the air coming up from your gut. You feel like your gut's kind of squeezing itself. That's because the air is coming from your diaphragm, and your diaphragm is pushing the air up. So to get the moan and to properly blow into a goose call, you want to use that same kind of air. Now, obviously, you're not going to whistle into the call, but do that same kind of air presentation, just without the whistle. Yes, I know it sounds funny, and that's because I'm not using my hands yet or any voice inflection to change the tone and make it deeper sounding and more goosey, but this is what you need to get first, just the basic air of the moan. So one big thing that hardly anyone talks about that I had to learn the hard way is most people, when they're starting out goose calling, their cheeks come out, and when they're trying to break over the reed, there's too much air escaping on the side of their mouth, and there's not enough pressure to make the reed break over. So now we're going to move on to the cluck. This is the second part of the honk. This is the going from the moan to the huh, the high pitch huh, and that's what we're going to be learning now. So very important, make sure you listen and bear with me here. So there are two parts to your tongue when it comes to goose calling. There's the tip of your tongue, and then there's the back of your tongue. If you say the letter K, you can feel the back of your tongue go to the roof of your mouth. Now, you're not going to be doing that into the goose call. That's just to show you what the back of your tongue feels like. Now, to make the reed break over and to do the cluck, you're actually not going to blow any harder. That's something I hear a lot of people doing, and that's not the proper way to do it. And if you're doing that to break it over, you're probably not doing it the right way. So very important, you want to have the tip of your tongue pinned down behind your bottom teeth, and it's always going to stay there. Your tongue isn't just going to float around, it's going to stay pinned right there behind your teeth. And to make it break over, what you're going to do is raise the back of your tongue. You're not necessarily going to blow harder, and like I said, remember, it's very important that you keep your cheeks in tight so there's no extra air escaping, and all that pressure is directed right over your tongue. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to break over the reed. Keep in mind, not any extra pressure. It's literally just me raising the back of my tongue to the roof of my mouth. This is what it sounds like in the back of the call. So no extra pressure. I'm not I'm not blowing hard or anything like that to get it to break over. It is simply just the back of my tongue. And that's the most important part to remember. So what you really want to focus on to break it over, keep those cheeks tight so no air is going around your tongue, and just raise the back of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And that's what causes the reed to break over. So those are the two pieces of the honk, and now I'm going to teach you how to piece them together properly. So obviously, you have the moan, you have the cluck, and now all it is combining them. And so in order to do this, you want to start with the moan. And so you're going to keep the tongue at the bottom of your mouth like that. And then really, it's just the Now I understand it might take you a little bit to get that part. It did for me, but I didn't have all these tips, helping me. So hopefully you guys get that quick. But now we're going to move on to the hands. If you still haven't got the honk yet, just keep watching that part over and over until you get it. And then fast forward to this part where I show you how to use your hands. All right, this is pretty simple, and it also makes a big difference. This is definitely the easiest part of making a goose call sound goosey, but it's also a really big part of it. So you want to take one of your hands and just hold it like this. You're going to take your goose call now and lay it right there, just like that. So now you want to take your index finger, that's your first finger, your pointer finger, whatever you want to call it. You want to lay it right there at the end of the call. Boom, just like that. And now, after that, you're going to take your middle finger, just relax it. Don't put it all the way down, just relax it right there, hanging out with your pointer finger. And then your back two hands. And then your back two fingers, you want to put them all the way down. Completely constrict the air there. So what's controlling the tone and the loudness really of your goose call is your middle finger. You have a little bit of a sound chamber there. I don't know if that's going to focus or not. So now you have a sound chamber right here at the end of your goose call, and that is in your hand. And your middle finger is what is going to control that, open it, close it, to make it deeper, higher pitched, louder, quieter. So now that you have that, you're going to use this hand, cup it like this, and rest it right there on your knuckles. And once you do that, you'll be able to see what using your hands does. You shouldn't really be opening and closing this hand. These two fingers should be closed at all times. And the middle finger is really the only thing that moves. You can use this hand, to kind of change the direction of the call and to make it sound like more geese. If you start to get really fast with the honk, and you can do it quick and switch it around, it sounds like more geese. So I'm going to show you what the honk sounds like without any hands. Obviously you've heard it, but I'm going to show you one more time just to demonstrate. But now with the hands. And something I like to do when blowing a goose call is add a little bit of voice inflection that kind of gives it a little more growl on the low end, makes it sound a little goosier. So here it is without any voice inflection. Now here it is with voice inflection. And all I'm doing is just here it is in the back of the call. And now that you have that down, you need to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice until you can confidently do it every time, and you can repeat the same note, the same sounding note over and over and over again. You really, really want to get the fundamentals down before you move on to any more advanced notes. That's something I learned the hard way. I finally learned how to do the honk, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to do a double cluck and a spit note and a quick spit and all this stuff, and it was just the wrong way to learn. You really got to nail down the fundamentals before you can move on to anything else. And once you do that, your progress will go so much faster, and it will be so much easier for you to learn those more advanced notes. If you guys are still trying to figure out how to do this, you're still not quite sure, it's still not sounding right, just keep rewatching the sections that you're having a problem with, and hopefully it helps. But if this video helps you guys, please, please, please leave a like and, comment. I would love to hear if this video was helpful for you guys. Maybe you came into this video without even knowing how to honk, and now at the end of it you can do it. And if so, that would make my day. Like being able to teach someone that's just getting into it how to properly honk and sound like a goose, that would make my day. So leave a comment if I helped you guys out. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out our new apparel, first link in the description. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.